And welcome to Friday's edition of Journey Through the Gospels. Today we are in Mark chapter 11. Now, today's video may sound a little familiar to you as if you've watched all these videos, because it will sound similar to one we did when we were going through Matthew. But because I think it's so important, I'm teaching on it again. In this story, Jesus is traveling around again. Jesus is hungry, and he sees a fig tree in the distance and goes to try to get a fig off of there, but there are no figs on there. And so Jesus does something which may seem odd, but he curses the tree. A few days later, the disciples and Jesus are walking back in that same area. The disciples see the tree and are amazed that this tree has withered and wilted. And they say, Jesus, the tree that you've cursed, it's dying. And they're just amazed that that has happened. And this is Jesus' response. He says, "Have faith in God," Jesus answered. "I tell you the truth, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will happen, it will be done for him. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." It will be yours. Now, if you watched yesterday's video, we talked about having a childlike faith and about how a child, they just have that simple faith. They haven't become skeptical of the world yet. And a faith that says, if God or His Word says it, I will believe it with no skepticism. So continuing on that thought with today's video, thinking about what Jesus says and talking about prayer. He says that if we will believe that we have received what we've asked for in prayer, Jesus says then we will receive. If we believe, we will receive. When you pray and ask the Lord for something, do you actually believe with that childlike faith that God's going to answer and that God's going to come through? Or is it the truth that when you pray, you really are just hoping that God does something? Jesus says that we need to believe. And I believe that we need to have that kind of childlike faith we talked about yesterday. That if we pray, we actually believe that the God that spoke and created this universe, that He has the power and is able to answer whatever need that we have. Now, it's easy for us to be skeptical, even when it comes to God and to prayer, but as believers, I want to encourage you to continue to grow in your faith so that when you pray, that you actually believe that God's going to come through. I encourage you to even just start today. Maybe you've got a need in your life that you've been praying for, and maybe today, this may be the first time that you pray this way, but after this video, take a moment and pray and just say, what, I am really believing today. I'm not just going to hope, but I'm really believing that I have already received the answer to this prayer. And really believe when we pray. And I believe that God is going to come through. God's going to show Himself faithful to you, that you're going to see that God comes through, and that it's going to increase your faith even more for the next time that you pray and believe. And I want to encourage you to have that childlike faith as you pray today. That's going to do it for today, and actually for week 7. And on Monday, we are going to be in Mark chapter 12 as we start week 8 in our journey through the Gospels. Hope that you have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday.